So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. Could the tentative agreement be in trouble at General Motors and the other auto manufacturers? We're going to be talking about it today. In Spring Hill, Tennessee, the assembly plant there voted down the tentative agreement at the General Motors plant. The tentative agreement, of course, has 25% wage increases, cost of living adjustments, et cetera, et cetera. This follows a few other plants. On Friday of last week, the General Motors workers at the assembly plant in Flint, Michigan also voted against the deal. That one was much closer, 52% to 48. But it seems like the tentative agreement is stalling here. To look at the General Motors and the Ford numbers, we're seeing losses in the Bedford plant. We're seeing losses at Flint Truck, losses at Pontiac Stamping, losses at Flint Engine. We're seeing losses at Saginaw, at Tonawanda, Marion, and Spring Hill, of course. The loss at the Flint Truck facility is pretty big. Flint Truck is at 3,220 employees, appears to be the largest facility within the union shop, United Auto Workers shops. And you're seeing the big facilities really seem to get hit bad and not be successful in this vote. Whereas in the smaller facilities, it appears that the United Auto Workers are still winning, absolutely. Uh, at Stellantis, broadly speaking, the United Auto Worker votes appear to be winning, although it's close. The Marysville Part Depot, they voted against. The Boston Parts voted against. But generally speaking, Stellantis is in a good position, or at least United Auto Workers at Stellantis. They are for ratification of the tentative agreement. There's quite a few different reasons for the disapproval, and it is not across the board. Some veteran workers are worried about not receiving as much as newer employees under the deal, especially including retirement benefits. They also don't like the language in some of the tentative agreements. And furthermore, there's apparently some distrust in the union leadership after past corruption scandals. Uh, you know, and beyond this, and I cited this in a previous video, some are a little bit upset that Sean Fain didn't deliver on his proposed negotiating tactics. Now, I said long ago, those were not, should not have been expected, right? He pushed a elimination of tiers, a 32-hour work week, retiree health care for all, traditional pensions, and 40% pay increases. And of course, he didn't deliver, but there was no expectation for him to deliver. Those were talking points in order to control the narrative and put forth a very high initial offer. That wasn't exactly expected. That's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to do that, but there are people who are upset that they didn't receive a 32-hour work week, which was another thing that Sean Fain promised. Again, not expected, in my opinion. There was one UAW presidential candidate who's politicking here, says, I don't think the tentative agreement goes far enough. I think it's divisive. I think it doesn't get rid of tiers and it doesn't meet all of our needs as a whole. Now, again, that is, I want to be clear here, that is politicking. This is still a political organization, 100%. Fain said he truly believes they are record contracts and a major victory for the movement. There were allegedly people in the media in the corporate class, quote unquote, who were saying that they didn't know they were doing, what the UAW was doing. I don't know if I saw any of that. I saw a lot of cheerleading from the quote unquote corporate class. They were pushing this. If you read any articles, but one of the tier two workers that was hired in 2009 without benefits, he said, just because it's a double digit number, it doesn't mean it's better. They want you to work longer, to do things longer, and the life balance is one of the things that many of the United Auto Workers had a concern with. In addition, folks that started working back in 2008 feel frustration that Fain didn't achieve what he was promising on rewarding traditional Tier 1 employees compared with new hires. It says Tier 1 gave back in 2008, and we feel we lost a lot of money over the last 17 years. They worked an entire career without ever getting their money. And there was China Jones at the Louisville assembly plant who said the same thing, been there 23 years. Older veterans like them made the sacrifices for the automakers and they didn't get anything out of it. And they feel like this is very sort of empty promises from the UAW leadership. Now, what do I think? Based on what I've seen, based on the numbers, it's very likely that they will still go ahead and ratify. General Motors is looking the least likely, but even that is I think going to happen. It really depends on how many people vote too. You've seen a lot of no or lack of voting, lack of participation in the process, and that can't happen. But if people feel passionate about the discussion, that's when things may change, and perhaps General Motors will not ratify the tentative agreement. At this time, I think Stellantis is a lock. Of course, Ford is a lock. It appears that that isn't going to be a problem, but there are issues at GM. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.